Would you like to know how this is all your fault? You are a quality assurance technician at Orbicom, a private satellite company chasing government contracts by undercutting the competition. Your job? Well, you make sure the software on every new satellite is bug-free and ready to run before launch. But today, you were distracted. Who knows why? Maybe it was the fact that you have a gambling problem and owe a lot of money to some very bad people. Or the fact that you're pretty sure your wife no longer loves you. Either way, you missed something. But I'm sure it was nothing. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Actually, sorry, that was a little disingenuous. I know exactly what's the worst that could happen. You see, that thing you missed? It was a glitch in the control system for the satellite's monopropellant thrusters. You know, the things that allow the satellite to move around and do stuff like collision avoidance. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, collision? What are the odds of that happening? Space is huge. Well, space is indeed huge, but Earth's orbit is not. In fact, it's more like a few narrow racetracks, stacked on top of each other, each one jammed with thousands of satellites, both living and dead. And then there's the random chunks of metal left over from nearly 70 years of the folks in charge saying, "We'll clean it up later." And your $250 million communications satellite? Well, it's now frozen in the fast lane of the busiest track we've got. No steering, no brakes, just a very expensive, very fragile target cruising through an orbital demolition derby at nearly 18,000 miles per hour. A collision isn't a matter of if. It's a matter of, oh shit! It just happened. That's just, well, damn.
You're fired!
Okay, so your shiny new bird just crossed paths with an old US weather satellite, launched back when Seinfeld was still airing new episodes. It's been dead for years, just coasting along, minding its own business, until your incompetence turned it into a 5-ton clay pigeon. The impact shreds both satellites into more than 3,000 fragments. Each one now is a high-speed bullet in orbit. Within minutes, a fragment slams into a Japanese imaging satellite. That adds another 800 fragments to the original 3,000. One of those fragments then hits a Starlink. That's another 1,400 fragments. One of those annihilates an old Soviet spy satellite that's the size of a city bus. That's another 4,000 fragments. I think you're starting to get the picture here. This is called Kessler Syndrome, a self-sustaining debris cascade. Within hours, collision alerts are going off so fast at mission control that they just turn the alarms off. It's like pulling the batteries from a smoke detector because the house is too on fire. By day 1, GPS coverage starts dropping out in chunks. Cargo ships drift off course. Passenger jets stack up in holding patterns over major cities like angry bees. On day 3, what was predicted to be a manageable tropical storm, well, it makes landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. Without those weather satellites, the storm's rapid intensification happened in the dark. By the time ground-based radar saw the eye wall, evacuating was no longer an option. By the end of week 1, the International Space Station has burned through its maneuvering fuel, trying to dodge your cosmic confetti. On day 8, they stopped dodging and abandoned the station. Unfortunately, their capsule disappears somewhere over the Pacific. In less than 2 years, every low Earth orbit satellite is gone. No GPS, no weather forecasts, no satellite-based communications or internet. All gone. Agriculture tanks without precision planting and irrigation data. Financial markets seize like an old lawnmower. And then the wars start. Nations blind and desperate for resources turn on each other, And before long, someone, somewhere, pushes a big red button. Funny enough, starting a nuclear war is one of the few things that doesn't require satellites. Yes, without them, long-range secure communication between military forces gets trickier. But there are backup methods like VLF radio for submarines and hardened landlines for missile silos. But what about modern ICBMs? Well, they have inertial navigation systems, which are basically just ultra-precise gyroscopes and accelerometers. They guide the missile without GPS or satellite input. So if the coordinates are known ahead of time, which they definitely are, they can be pre-programmed into the missile's guidance computer. No satellites needed. After the missiles fly, soot from burning cities chokes the atmosphere. Crops fail. The temperature drops. The last people alive will tell stories about how the end began. With you and that $250 million metal piñata you stuck in orbit. Whoops, you destroyed the world.